Okay, so Coach Mariola. I got to watch your kid wrestle today. He was runner-up here at the Kenston Sectional. I'm like you. I have kids. I'm 40, and I got a 2- and a 3-year-old. So you had kids a little later on too, right?
Yes, yep.
So you're 54, and he's 13?
He's 10.
10. So,
10, yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
even later.
Yeah, I started late. So I have a daughter in 8th grade, and my son's in 5th grade.
So I'm going to be on the Mariola program. As far as kids go, I'm going to be like the old guy at all the stuff.
Yeah.
But except for you look 10 years younger than you are.
You're too kind.
Fountain of youth, man. I told someone the other day, I was like, this guy looks, right? This guy looks 15 years younger than he is. How long have you been in high school coaching?
I want to say, so I was 20 years at Barberton. So this is my 20th, let's see, and 1 year at Walsh, so 21, and then 5 years at Nerdonia, and 3 years at, so 30 years, almost 30 years. This will be, next year will be 30 years high school.
Are you running out of gas at all?
A little bit. I think the change from me going to Barberton to Walsh just helped a little bit, a different look, and, but I probably should have maybe went there a lot sooner when I was younger to build it up, because it's gonna be a lot of work to build that up. But yeah, I don't know, just try to find a way. I always think of our coaches. Like my coach Grady Penninger would say, Mariola, don't tell me how rough the waters is. Just bring the ship in. So you're kind of trained that way your whole life. So you just learn not to quit. You learn to stay tough and power through it. So
Grady was your coach?
Grady Penninger, yeah.
He coached Tom and Conrad and all those guys. Pat Milkovich, right?
He was my coach. Yeah, Pat Milkovich was the assistant at Michigan State. Yeah, they were my coaches. So good guys.
Grady was the last. I don't know if people know this. This is a little trivia for you. Okay. The last team to win the NCAA east of the Mississippi, I don't know if you know, was Michigan State in like 1967 before Penn State did it in 2011. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
It's crazy. And Grady was the coach.
Yeah, he was a great man. He still is. I called him maybe 5 months ago, talked to him. I think he's 93 or 94, and he still was spunky as ever. And but I talked to him, he seemed to be doing real well. But I haven't seen him in years.
Your dad's still coaching.
Pardon me?
Did I see is your dad still coaching at Twinsburg?
Still coaching at Twinsburg.
How old's your dad?
He's 76, I believe, going to be 77 here. So yeah, he. I think when I was a senior in '83, he started to coach. So '84. So he's been the head coach at Twinsburg since 1984. So
You didn't go to Twinsburg?
No, I went to Chanel.
You went to Chanel, and Chanel won like every division in the '70s and the '80s, didn't they?
I believe so.
That's crazy. Not school anymore.
Correct.
How crazy is that? Does that make you sad a little bit?
Yeah, Graham Coggio, he's helping us out now at Walsh. Good guy. And, they built that new wrestling room for the program and everything, and then they shut the school down. That was kind of sad. But life's tough, and you fall down, you got to get back up and get back in there. So
it's wild because, if you look at Colin Moore now, his dad wrestled under you at Michigan, with you at Michigan State, didn't he?
He was tough. He was real tough.
He's a Chanel guy.
Yeah. Chanel guy, yeah. State champion. Yeah, it was real tough.
Anthony Ralph, he's a recruiter. He's the recruiting coordinator at Ohio State. You got all these guys. It's like the Chanel roots are deep. You got Cody Walters at WVU, right? He was one of the last, Jaggers, right? I mean, look at it. It's a crazy program to look at, and it's gone. Northeast Ohio. I think that we've had some coaches retire. We've had obviously it's Solon DiGiovanni's retired. We've had some guys. We've lost some guys. Greg Urbis, right? Do you think is it hurt Northeast Ohio a little bit compared to what, like in the '80s when you were coming up?
I think those pillars that kept the sport going. I think new guys come and they'll be those guys. You know what I mean? But those guys that you spoke about, Graham Coghill and my dad, DiGiovanni, Urbis. Those guys were legends. They really were. They did. They put a lot of time and all year round dedicating to the youth, to the junior high, into the high school. So, but I think kids now, since a lot of people have went to college and come back to coach youth and junior high, a lot of the kids are very advanced now technically compared to when we were in school. So because there's a lot of people that have wrestled in high school, went to college, maybe coached in college, and are coming back, helping out in different programs, coaching their kid. So I think, there's a lot of kids nowadays are real technically sound.
Tom Milkovich, I mean, he's been around the block, He's had some success as a high school coach. Now he's your assistant coach. He kind of he's the head coach. Then they bring you in. You're the head coach. He's your assistant. What's it like coaching with a legend like Tom?
Oh, great. His brother Pat was my coach. So, and he helped me out back when I was at Michigan State. But yeah, he's a 4-time Big Ten champion. He does a great job. And I got Loudon Gordon. He does a fantastic job. Also, he's kind of the technician guy. I think we got it in all phases. We have old school, we have middle school, intermediate school. I got Larry Vance helping me out, and then we got the new school with Loudon. He was at Notre Dame. They were national champions, and so we got a lot of guys helping out. So I think we're well rounded. Okay,
so looking at, I was talking to you about you and Mark Coleman had a rivalry in college.
Coleman, yeah.
That was crazy,
yeah.
right? So crazy. And then he goes and he wins the UFC. You're coaching high school. This guy's winning the UFC.
Yeah.
Was that a little weird for you, seeing thinking maybe I should have fought?
Yeah, I was going to fight with him, and I remember I was in school, and he's like, "Listen, you should have already trained twice today." And I'm like, "Well, I got a job. I got to teach health. I had 300 kids at Nordonia. And it's like, teaching in my classes. I had 7 periods with 50 kids. You know what I mean? So I had a lot of kids. But I just remember that time. I always look back on it. I was coaching, I was teaching, so I really couldn't. With the UFC, kind of got to dedicate your, all year round. All day, you can't really have another job working to be in the UFC. Those guys are training 2-3 times a day. I always think about it. And I see Mark time to time. Good buddy of mine. We mutual respect. Had some battles. I know I went to sit out and I ended up getting out, and he blast doubled me and knocked my front tooth out. So I got 3 fake teeth from him. So
you can look at him every day in the mirror and think about him, huh?
Yeah. But he's a good guy, and I wish him the best. And it was fun watching him, do well, compete in the UFC and things like that. So, and I think if you look at wrestling now. I think it's the toughest sport. I think the toughest guys in the world are wrestlers. And you look at the UFC now, most of the champions are wrestlers. Most of the elite champions are wrestlers. So I think that says a lot for the sport too.
Okay, I asked a lot of when I talked to D1 All-Americans. I was just talking to Matt Coughlin. He was a D1 All-American at Indiana, right? And I asked D1 All-Americans, you're a D1 All-American for Michigan State. Is it hard to step down to youth wrestling, to high school wrestling, when you wrestle at such a high level? You're training to get on a ladder and get on world teams and Olympic teams. Is it really hard to dial it down for you? And I understand you're 54 now, right? But was that hard for you, that transition?
Yeah, I think for me, coaching at Michigan State was different than coaching at Miami of Ohio, and then it was completely different coaching college to high school. I coached with a guy named John Duplay at Warrensville. He's in Ohio Wrestling Hall of Fame. I believe he's in the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. Great guy. And I really learned a lot how to coach high school. I think it's completely different coaching the Big Ten to coaching high school. Completely different. So you had to, I went through a transition thinking that, I was going to know everything, but you really have to, you have to adapt to high school from college. It's a big difference.
So down to the youth OAC. So let's just talk OAC. We're at the OAC tournament. It's a sectional, right? They added another layer of qualification to emulate the high school, which I think is smart, right? And it provides more opportunities, and kids don't just go to a district and get fed to the wolves. Now they got a sectional, and your kid's second to the sectional he's advancing on. OAC, what do you think of OAC and the system they've built here?
Being a newcomer, my son's wrestled in it for maybe 3-4 years now. A very tough tournament. I know that I speak with a lot of coaches. We train a little bit with like Dave Riggs over there, and I know him and a lot of the other guys. The OAC is the tough for U states. Very competitive and very good tournament. So. Tough competitors.
Is your kid learning some stuff, do you think? Do you think he's picking up stuff coming to these?
Yeah, absolutely. Another phase that you might have a conversation or a study with is, 3 sport athletes compared to 1 sport athletes. So my kid's a 3-sport athlete, so it's kind of tough. Where he's playing soccer, he plays football, and all the other kids are wrestling all year round. So guys that he nipped 3 years ago are nipping him now. So you got to find that balance, but that's another whole nother topic, you know.
I'm just not a specialization guy.
Yeah,
I did three sports. My brothers did multiple
Yeah.
sports. My nieces and nephews, we all do
Right.
3 sports. I'm going to have my kids do multiple sports. My
Yeah,
wife did
that's-
multiple
that's the same
sports.
with me.
I'm just a multiple sport guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I believe in it. That's just
Right,
me.
right.
So you're not going to get an argument here.
Oh, yeah.
We're not even going to have a good conversation about it because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just I'm going to yes to everything you say.
Yeah.
Because I think it develops all the other kinetics, the work ethic,
Yeah.
teammates. Because
Absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
teamwork within a team environment, right? It's totally
Right,
different than
right.
wrestling, which is very loner, very self-reliant, right?
Oh yeah, I think you know I was you know I train different sports myself. You know, my son's he's gonna be a 3-sport athlete. And just though, if you look at studies like for Division I in Ohio, how many 3-sport athletes were there? None. You know, probably maybe only 1 or 2 2-sport athletes. You know, I know that the '95 one that he played football. So you know, you look at Division II, you probably only got 2 or 3 kids there too. So you know, you look at the Big Tens and things like that, it even gets even at a higher level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the elite level is a lot of dedication, a lot of time. You know, a lot of support from the parents taking kids all over to, you know, it's just tough to be a state champ in Ohio. It's tough. Ohio's got great wrestling, real great wrestling.
No question.
Every year in and year out. Tough.
Yeah, I know. I'm the only one in my family who wasn't a state champ, so I know that. I got 3 older brothers and a nephew. So trust me, I know, okay? And I get to hear about it every now and again. All right, Coach, you got anything else for me?
No, just thank you very much. And if I don't talk to you, have a great New Year.
You too, man. I appreciate it. Hey, keep grinding. Go Warriors.
That's
Go
right.
Walsh Warriors.
That's
and
right.
keep
Building it up.
keep building it up, Coach.
Yeah, little
good,
by little.
Good luck to you guys.
All right, well, thank you.